Broadcasting live from
Swamp.
on the plane of
Swamp.
This is Tap Tap Concede. Hello, everyone. My name's Cameron. I'm hosting Tap Tap Concede this week, and joining me is Nelson.
Hey, I'm here.
And Ben Wheeler.
Swamp.
And we're here to rap to you about the GenCon release schedule that we were given a little while ago. And we'll be talking about all the new releases for Magic the Gathering. But before we do that, we want to thank you, the viewer here, on whichever platform you're listening to this on. Well done. This is brought to you by patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. So, head on over there and support us. And if you do, thank you very much. And this is also brought to you by cardkingdom.com/LRR. Cardkingdom.com, a clean, well-lit place to storm out. They've got ludicrously fast shipping. They're a union shop now. If you go to our affiliate code cardkingdom.com/LRR, that lets them know that we sent you. And if you do purchase anything, you can put in the additional information field of the order form, loading ready run sent me button, please. And they will send you a little 1-inch button, which right now reads
Swamp.
asterisk, may not read
Swamp.
They've
Well
got
done.
singles. If you're living in the United States, they have sealed product. They're fast. They're good at what they do. We like them. I think that is all the bookkeeping.
Do we thank the Swamp over at patreon.swamp/loadingreadyswamp?
We did, but if we want to just get an extra housekeeping, we could send you to the
Swamp.
at store.loadingreadyrun.com /
Swamp. Setting the tone for today's show.
You're about to be
yeah.
swamped with information.
Yeah, there's just been, it's a lot,
Yep.
and it's all a very important part of the environment and fulfills a function. So I've been told. So we got a lot of releases coming up.
We've got an integral project we'd like to bring you in on, and it's all very synergistic with everything that you know and love about this great enterprise called gaming.
Yeah. I mean, they gave us the roadmap for 2024 and a little bit of not a roadmap for 2025. They gave us the, Visit Scenic 2025 brochure with some teasers for that. And usually this kind of thing, like when, I don't know, a big Disney executive gets up on stage and tells you, we're going back to Wakanda for the 84th time. And like people go get like excited and seem to be happy about it. Yeah.
They cheer and they throw their hands in the air.
Woo! Yeah. And we're Magic players and we have different reactions to things.
I mean, we still love slop.
Yeah, please.
But-
like I got a bucket right here.
I cheer and throw my hands up in the air when the bus arrives at my stop.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm a millennial. I'm living in the year 2023. I'm just excited when I can get out of bed in the morning. Not to get out of bed in the morning, but to have the option of getting out of bed in the morning.
Woo!
Yeah. So let's get into it, shall we?
Please, let's.
Okay. There are how many? There are 8 sets coming out next year.
Yeah.
Which is only one every month and a half
Do they
on
all have-
average.
Are they all going to have PBRs?
I mean, after this episode, maybe not.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
exactly.
everyone.
First, coming up first, Ravnica Remastered, which is the latest like Masters set. It is. What do they say about it? It is contains cards from Ravnica Block, the Return to Ravnica Block, and the Guilds of Ravnica Block. It's draftable. And yeah, it's going to have like retro frames, premium cards, all a selection of borderless cards. Wow.
Kids are finally going to find out how good Ribbons of Night is.
Oh, God.
I mean, I'm kind of excited to just be able to like draft Karus. Right? Their card advantage, they're fixing in. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're starting off 2024 very strong.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. Ravnica's like one of the best locations, planes, pieces of this IP.
Yeah.
That is just every time they go back, you learn more and they get a little more loosey-goosey with how much they want to like let in. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? They've got coffee.
Yeah, why
Right?
not? Yeah. I mean, it started off as kind of like, a Terry Gilliam-esque Brazilian bureaucratic nightmare city built on city. And now it's weird and loopy, and it's got a little more Ankh-Morpork feel to it. It's I believe it was originally like described as the center of the multiverse.
Ravnica feels like the place where the fourth wall in Magic gets broken the most often.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually true. There might be more fourth wall breaks on some other plane, but it's sort of the like plane where it feels like, I don't know, like the Astratorium would land there.
Yeah. Okay.
If that makes sense. Like that, in my mind, like Ravnica is the place where like the world is fleshed out enough and the people are familiar enough with like dangerous stuff happening that also it just feels like, even if it's not true, but they've been exposed to various events and people are sort of familiar with planeswalkers now. Like, I don't think that's actually the case.
Yeah,
but
I mean, like
it feels closer to it.
It's a little bit like New York in that it's what gets flattened every time that there's a
Marvel movie.
Yeah, Marvel movie. But it also feels a bit like New York in that it is America, right?
Okay.
Like, if Dominar, if you were to think of like the Magic universe being kind of like, just map it to America, right? As this thing that occupies space in your mind. And you have like Dominaria, which might be everything from like Iowa to like, waving fields of grain, that kind of thing. And then you also have Ravnica, where people are just like, hey, I'm walking here.
Where things happen.
Yeah. Like, stop gawking at the buildings. It's a building. Get out of my way. You might see Slavoj Zizek demolishing 2 hot dogs on his way down the sidewalk. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy. I like Ravnica.
Ravnica's great.
This is kind of cool. I want to draft Bob and flip. I don't know.
Hit run.
Oh, no.
Take 8.
Ew. That's not the most I've ever taken off a Bob.
Maybe,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, on camera.
Maybe you can flip Boros Charm.
Yeah, Borborygmos.
Oh, or yeah. Sorry, I was trying to give you powerful cards for less mana here, Cam, but
No,
I get it. I
no,
get
man.
it.
We're all
go out in
about
style.
destruction.
Can I tell a really quick Dark Confidant story that's not related to this, but it's one of my favorite Magic stories?
How dare
Absolutely,
you
please
on a
do.
podcast about whatever we want to talk about?
Great. So it's a Canadian Highlander event, and I'm playing Blue-Black High Tide, and I was expecting to grab a black like Aristic Tutor or something from someone I had lent for that night. And I was like, great, they'll be at the shop, I'll pick it up and my deck will be complete. And they were unable to show up. So I'm there with like a 99 card deck. I'm like, I gotta put in something. And I was like, wait a minute, I have a Bob that I can use.
Right.
And I'm
Bob
like,
goes in everything.
yeah, because somebody knows I'm on DGen combo. They're not going to keep a hand with removal. Like maybe this Bob will draw me some extra cards and trade with a blocker. Right. But this version of High Tide, I was also playing like a show and tell Omniscience Emrakul kind of package. And round 1, I have Bob on 2, and I play it, and my opponent goes like, "Oh." Like oh Jesus, okay. I'm like, sick. This is exactly
the
what I want.
mind game.
They've got nothing for it. First flip Emrakul, second flip Omniscience.
Hubris.
Yeah.
All right, so Ravnica Remastered, we have warm feelings about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, in February, so Ravnica Remastered's January. In February, we have Murders at Karlov Manor, which is the next standard set. And like the key art for this features some Azorius guy, who appears to be Judith. It's got Massacre Girl Aurelia, Viashino, and then what's his name? The Boros Goblin guy, right? Or is that
Krenko? I think it's Krenko.
Oh, is that Krenko? He's got like a little crown on. I guess. Yeah. No, if you're Krenko, you can make a crown.
Yeah, he's the kingpin.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I get it. Man, I hope Massacred Girl didn't do the murder.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that
All of these people are murderers.
Yeah, most common tweet I saw this week. Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked replying with everyone in this picture has done lots of killing.
Yeah, in a
right?
room,
all of them.
It's a room full of murderers and war criminals. Like, you know, probably they're all guilty of something.
Yeah, exactly.
But Massacre Girl's name is Massacre Girl, so that is the funniest one to be like, who did it?
Yeah, who done it? Massacre Girl, do you know? And she's like pulling a human femur out of her mouth with no meat left on it and being like, what?
Yeah. But we're still on Ravnica.
Yeah, we're still on Ravnica.
Right?
So Murders at Karlov Manor, I guess this is like set in an Orzhov basilica, or, you know, where was it that Catholic lawyers lived in the Vatican?
That's I'm not passing that knowledge check, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. You know, if you're the who was it called? There was actually an office in the Vatican that was disbanded by Darth Pope. You know, the previous Pope.
Yeah.
Whose job it was to argue for the non-divinity of saints. It's where we get the term devil's advocate.
Oh.
The promoter fidei.
I did read the first couple chapters of Name of the Rose.
Yeah, I need to read Name of the Rose. Apparently it's fun. It's a potboiler, right?
I guess I didn't get through it. Sorry.
I mean, it's also a murder mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got far enough to understand that had happened.
It also features an old blind librarian named Georgios of Burgos.
Okay. Yes.
And I'm doing like the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing .jpg at it. It's Borges.
What?
I know.
So maybe we'll see some of that though.
Yeah, I mean, this is weird to me, and I like weird. Give me weird concepts, big, like, high... give me high concept, give me weird top-down design.
This is a thing that I think they can... I mean, not only get away with Ravnica, because this has happened with Innistrad too, where, like, the blocking out of all these sets... Like, Ravnica introduces the city and, like, the guilds, I guess, but you don't really get too much from the cards about the people.
Right.
Then you get Return to Ravnica, and it starts to focus. You get more about, like, who actually occupies these guilds and, like, what they're about.
We learned more about the guild lists and stuff.
Yeah. And then we go to Guilds of Ravnica. And then it starts to be, you start to get a bigger picture of like, okay, we've got the guilds and the plane itself. We've got the people in there, but now we have what the people are actively doing and thinking and like what their day to day is and what their jobs are. And you got, you know, the flavor text. It's just, you'll have people being like, another murder on this street?
Yeah.
Christ, I'm going to have to like take the long route to work today or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just the inconveniences. And so, yeah, once you've done all that legwork, having a set that's this kind of like, it's what if all these legends were in a murder mystery on Ravnica? Like, that's cool, right?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I also have warm feelings about this. You know, having written stuff, you can imagine the Magic developers creating Ravnica and making you know, the original Ravnica set, and then like on their way out being like, oh, we should have done this with it, or I had an idea for a flavor text, I want to explore this, and then a couple of years later you get Return to Ravnica, and that process keeps happening until you're eventually just like, you want to do like Weekend at Bernie's on Ravnica and see what happens?
Nice.
And everyone's like, yeah, we have enough depth in this setting now where we can easily fill a couple hundred cards.
Yeah.
Only if
that
we can
concept.
have weird science on Innistrad coming in 2026.
Ooh, okay. I'm just really excited for I'm calling it now, the serialized unitary printing, 1 of 1 murder.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the set's names to be believed, maybe there's going to be
murders.
I'm just thinking there's going to be a murder slot in every pack. Every pack is going to have one copy of murder in it, and there'll be like 150 different arts for murder. Like there's already like 4 or 5 arts for murder, right?
Yeah, no, every single legendary creature that's ever appeared in Ravnica.
Yeah,
will
each
appear
one's
on
holding
a
a
murder.
knife. Yeah, will appear on a murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those will be serialized.
I'm curious who this clearly Azorius figure in the center stage is. Also, the other thing that sprang to mind when I saw this key art was the original Conspiracy art. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's a signal. We'll see.
They brought back
Conspiracies
Fading
returning.
Back from the Dead.
Ooh. Where's Dak from originally? Do you know?
Isn't he from Theros?
Maybe.
No, I thought he was from.
Is he from Fiora?
I think he's from Fiora, or like a very.
Because we meet him on Fiora, but
he's from like a very Spanish plane.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I could see him
I
being from
think,
Fiora.
or French. I don't know.
All right. So moving on from that, in March we have Universes Beyond Fallout. This is the latest Universes Beyond set. Fallout is a video game series published by Ubisoft, created by what was it originally Black Isle Games.
Not sure.
You know, one of those studios in the late '90s that created like iconic ideas and then just like got
swallowed up. Well, the owner probably sold them. Usually
yeah.
was the most common.
I forget. I played the original Fallout. I have warm memories of it.
I played the original Fallout a bit, but I couldn't figure it out. I didn't get good at it quickly and get very deep into it. It was one of these games where people were talking about it, and I tried it, and I was like, this just seems like more work than Rogue, and not as much fun as Zelda.
Yeah. Well, it's very kind of like Americana Mad Max.
Right.
Like it's
it's the world building was great.
Yeah,
no complaints about that.
It deals a lot with concepts of like nostalgia and all of the things that make America good or bad.
Moral dilemma.
Yeah. And how that works out great for you. And power armor and rad roaches. All I want out of this set is for it to have the most revolting food tokens ever created.
Oh boy. Like, can we get a crossover? Can we get who's that MRE guy that Graham follows on YouTube?
Oh, Steve 1989.
Steve? Let's get this out onto a tray.
Can we get Steve in for the PPR?
Only he's just like referring to a rad roach being spit roasted on a piece of rebar.
Yeah, maybe he could get involved in some promotional materials for Wizards if we can't have him on our show or whatever.
Exactly.
I also want, before we keep moving on, I want to recap here. For the first three sets we've seen, we have non-standard draftable Ravnica Remastered, right?
Yes.
Regular old standard release Murders at Karlov Manor, and now Fallout is going to be
their commander decks.
Okay, a set of 4 commander decks, probably like the 40,000 Warhammer ones.
Yeah. Warhammer 40,000.
Cool.
Yeah, it's described in its own terms as atom punk retrofuturism.
Hey, Wheeler, big Fallout fan over there?
Yeah.
I'm going to save my piece for
later.
The end of this.
Yeah. I think this firmly falls into the not for me category. I don't know. I didn't see a thing, officer.
I'm not a huge Fallout fan. I gave the games a little try and then basically never came back, but I ended up really liking those Warhammer 40,000 decks. So I'm going to be unsurprised if it turns out when I see these Magic cards, I'm like, sweet.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll wind up being on VATS control or something.
I don't even know what that means, but cool.
So I've come around on the 40,000 cards too. Mm-hmm. Still haven't come around on the Walking Dead cards. Stranger Things.
I mean, like, I like Warhammer. I don't like Walking Dead. I don't like Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
I like Stranger Things a lot, but all those cards, I mean, I guess I still have this feeling, and it's just old, and I've kind of gotten over it now and or used to it, where it's just like, if you're going to introduce cards like that, please just make them for the casuals. Don't make them like Four-Oven Legacy humans.
Dude, they've grinded you down, old man. Yeah, I get what you're saying though. It's like if Commander players are just playing Commander like with the Commander cards, then who cares, right? Like you build your deck, and it's a format where you are actively encouraged that if a table cannot agree on power level or deck style or whatever, that you could be like, I'm going to find a different pod, have a good game or whatever.
Right.
You can actively just not engage with that.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
But tournament Magic's not like that.
No, dude, right? 55 Ricks, 55 Chaos Defilers, 55 Molochs, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm just excited for next year's EDSC where we get to play Fallout versus Lord of the Rings versus Doctor Who versus Warhammer 40,000.
Oh, God, I forgot about
Who
Doctor
said
Who.
that?
Battle the IPs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
can hear this too?
Man, sometimes I still hear James's voice. It's like he's in the room with us. Hi, James. I forgot to mention, James is on tech. Thank you, James. Yeah,
New
no,
Moonbase with the telekinetic linking is really working out great.
one of the things that I heard about like Universes Beyond, one of the more interesting comments I heard about it was that this feels like what they originally had the Deckmaster imprint for. Like, on the back of the Magic cards, it says Deckmaster.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the idea was in 1993, maybe we end up making
Like
a game.
system.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, we
Right.
end up making a different card back for like, a My Little Pony card game or something, or
Yeah.
whatever other IPs
But it all
come along. But
like
they're all
fits
Deckmaster.
together into Deckmaster. But that's like complete speculation.
I
and
do
has very
think that
little
Magic
basis in
has
reality.
evolved to effectively a game system, and
Yeah.
it's just
There's so many formats,
you
right?
can't it's reached that point, and the audience hasn't caught up, and also it's not realistic to expect a lot of the audience to enjoy this effectively forced to change in certain circumstances. At least when it comes to like eternal players, like legacy players, or even modern players, I guess nowadays. But yeah, I guess I'll just say this honks.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah, no, fair. I mean, as I said, firmly fits into the not for me category. I don't know. I guess people like Fallout, right? Like you said you enjoyed it for what little you played of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, you couldn't make it work, right?
I just didn't. Sorry, the gameplay didn't grab me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is like Fallout, the first game, not the like Xbox 360 ones or whatever.
Okay,
Just like
okay.
original Fallout.
Right.
Whenever that came out, I want to say like 1997.
Yeah,
Like I
97.
played it on like a 386,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was just like figuring out the puzzle of how to advance in this game is not fun for me. So I
Yeah.
stopped after like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the world seemed okay. Like I like Mad Max. I don't know if there was like a 4 Commander decks coming out about Mad Max, I'd probably be like, sweet. I don't know. Let's learn more
Is there
about
going
the
to be a
world of
basic
Mad Max.
land called like Australia?
Maybe. Yeah, with just wastes.
The real world part gets me. I mean, I'll talk about this when we get to Assassin's Creed. But I'll make a summary of why I'm a real old school hater.
We're building up to Wheeler's entrenched universes beyond opinion. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Next up, coming in Q2 of 2024, we have Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Which
Oh, that's not the
I
loud
am-
noise I thought you were going to make. I was getting ready to back you up. If you say,
Oh, ye?
I'll say ha.
Okay.
Cowboys
It's a cowboy set.
It's a cowboy
and
set.
nothing.
Cowboys and nothing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I get it.
Cowboys.
Cowboys
and
Cadillacs. No,
more
that was
more
dinosaurs.
And dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Cowboys and dinosaurs.
It's not Cowboys and dinosaurs. It's Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Don't mix.
that was Kaladesh and Ixalan.
Right.
That standard format.
Yeah, exactly.
The discourse, she is going to be bad.
Oh yeah.
I say this as an Indigenous person living in Canada in the year 2024. I mean, like, it's Wild West frontier fantasy. It's going to be like yeehaw and gold mines and like skeletons and stuff, right? The key art clearly has Oko and then 6 silhouettes who people have been speculating on who they are. One is small, one is a gorgon, one is a demon with a fiery head.
Well, this is Universes Beyond Red Dead Redemption, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not? Why not? I mean, like, this has probably been coming for a long, long time. It's a Wild West set.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Wild West set is one of those. It's like idea that's like, please leave on and marker on the board,
Yeah,
right in
yellow,
that way, in
yeah.
one of the conference rooms at WotC probably. It's just like, okay, we've always got this we can turn to if we need to, if we're like dry on other long-term plans for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Nobody has any ideas we like as much as Wild West set. It's been there since 1996.
Yeah.
So finally they can wipe Wild West set off.
I mean, maybe I'll get extremely lucky and there will be like alternate art cards marketed from the estate of Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Universes beyond Blood
Universes
Meridian.
Beyond Blood Meridian, the Border Trilogy, the Crossing, all the pretty horses. Give it all to me.
That's how you get me into UB.
Yeah, you be Cormac McCarthy.
Oh yeah.
Come on, baby, make it happen. He's dead, and his kid sure shit ain't saying no. They're gonna get that bag.
Yeah. God, I hope they do this right. Oh my God, that's.
I just want to say in advance, please don't be bringing back horsemanship. That's not what I want from my cowboy set.
I feel like we're going to get like the what was the skull clamp in Brothers War? That's
Transmogrant's crown.
Transmogrant's crown. We're gonna get like the mandatory commander boots, but they're gonna be cowboy boots, and that's gonna be it's gonna be the Transmogrant's crown to the skull clamp of Lightning Greaves.
Okay.
The boots with the spurs.
Yeah,
Whole club looking at her.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Those Thunder Junction jeans.
She hoofed the floor.
Yeah, just please get this right.
Yeah,
Like, I'm begging you.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, please.
Somebody's got a lot riding on this, you might say.
Then quarter two, we have
And that's
modern-
another standard set.
That's
sorry.
another standard
Yeah,
set.
okay.
Another standard set. Modern Horizons 3.
Everybody's got a lot riding on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, weary thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, jittering hand thumbs up.
Like, what
Yeah.
do you want more? Do you want a set that kind of just adds some interesting cards but doesn't really tip the power scales very much and includes like reprints of elemental incarnations, or do you want like new power crept Modern Horizons 2 Part 2?
Nope. I want it closer to MH1 than MH2.
Okay.
I think MH1 is great. Incredible. Like, there are some, like, Hogak, Arkham's Astrolabe. Those cards are pretty egregious. Renin 6. Probably shouldn't do another one of those ever again.
Sure.
Yeah.
But still, like, overall, I rather them take those kind of risks on a couple of key
Yeah.
cards, and then everything else is just, it's the juice, right? You just get more, you get a bunch of throwback cards, you get some reinforcement to themes and card types that you can't really give love anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
great. MH2, God, I hate it. I mean,
Just made a bit too much of an impact, right? Like the problem is that the cards like affected the format too strongly.
yeah, and I don't hate the gameplay that comes from those cards. Like,
Right.
I genuinely love pitch spells.
Yeah.
Like Solitudes, even Fury is, I mean, probably a bit too much, but you know, it's cool. I like what MH2 did. It's just they did too much of it, and it was just they cracked the code on how to rotate.
Modern.
You know, modern.
Yeah.
It's just like, what if we and legacy, right?
Yeah, like the conversation these days is just like, what is the modern ban list even? Like, there's like a pile of cards on there where if you look at the current decks that you'd have to face or whatever, like I'm sure they would matter and they would fold into those new decks or whatever. But it's just funny that like, you know, Splinter Twin gets banned in an age when it has access to like this set of things, and then you look at like what else was in the Splinter Twin deck, and then you look at like current modern decks that are like top 8 approachers, and you're like, do these even care about any of this? You know, so
Like the birthing pod announcement talks
Right.
about Siege Rhino.
yeah,
Like birthing pod, like this deck was already good, and turns out they've got this killer 4-drop in Siege Rhino,
Right.
to really just drive it home.
Can you imagine if like you're playing modern and what you're worried about is Siege Rhino? Like that sounds super fun.
yeah, that sounds. I mean, it sounds great. but
Yeah.
Could we get a fixed Dredge deck? Or is Dredge just like gonna suck forever and not be balanceable?
it's the kind of thing where like Dredge occasionally wins like online events or top 8s challenges, and it's just because there's some complete sicko that only plays Dredge.
Some
and
Dredge
they're
savant.
yeah.
just an absolute master.
They've figured out every matchup and all the like tiny percentages. Yeah.
Yeah. But Dredge is either broken or it's for, you know,
Yeah.
the real gamers only
I think
sort of thing.
I think Dredge, like maybe more than any other deck in Magic's history, is like really hard to have like a power level dial. It's more just like a switch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it, either,
Right, it's
it
like-
either kills you or it does
Yeah,
nothing.
Dredge is just either on or off in any given format.
Right. Yeah, no, sure. Weary, hopeful, optimistic, thumbs up.
They're fun to draft too.
Yeah.
I like drafting
Both the
master
draft
sets.
formats have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Those Modern Horizons draft formats.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I am also concerned, and I don't know. I'm just mostly worried for my wallet as a Canadian Islander player.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's all. And I mean, I only even need one of probably it's going to be 10 cards, but like they're all going to be $100 or whatever. I don't know.
Then following up in July, we have our second Universes Beyond set of the year, Assassin's Creed.
Neat.
Yeah.
I liked Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I've never actually played it, to be honest. I've never played any of the Ass Creed games, but like, I don't know. I know that there's assassins and they follow some kind of creed.
Well, you get to do a lot of like, I don't know, climbing around buildings that like I
Right.
think at the time hadn't really been done. Like the parkour of
Yeah.
the game was like pretty satisfying on your hands.
I also know Paul really
like
likes
to-
the
to
pirate
watch.
one.
Okay, nice.
And they've done a lot of like kind of, I don't know, interesting and fun things with the video games, right? Like the Egyptian one, you can kind of like just operate in tourism mode and go around and look at the buildings and get like, you know,
Yeah.
a bit of guidance on, you know, what is this thing?
Yeah, being in a really beautifully rendered like 3D model of like an ancient city is about 40 to 60% of what these games have going for them.
I heard good things about Valhalla. That's the other than the original like one or whatever, and Black Flag. I think that's
yeah, Black
the,
Flag is the pirate
Yeah,
one. Where
I've
you have
heard-
sea shanties. You can find sea shanties.
the pirate one and the newer Viking one. Or somebody's going to tell me that it's not Vikings; they're Norsemen or
Right,
whatever.
Viking is a verb. One would go Viking.
That's right.
It yeah, those games I've heard, you know, they're fun, they're cool, they're good. But there's like 50 of these games now.
Yeah.
They just turned into Ubisoft like like just like schlock, right?
Yeah.
Just cranking them out.
Yeah,
I
just-
only played Assassin's Creed 3. That's the like ancient or Renaissance Italy, not ancient, but
Yeah, they're like the 2K games. They're like, you idiots are going to buy the new one every single year, so we might as well keep making them.
Yeah. And this is a small set that is not draftable. Mark Rosewater said that it will be similar to like March of the Machines Aftermath, kind of in deployment and like.
so will it be standard legal or no? Probably not if it's a
no.
Universe Beyond
You don't-
product.
Yeah, no.
Modern legal though,
Okay, maybe
because
it's
it's
modern
Universes
legal.
Beyond, but not a Commander set.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed will be modern legal.
Neat.
So those modern players that don't necessarily like Assassin's Creed, they gotta jam with this game that came out like a decade ago. Like I guess when did the first one come out? Like 2008 or something.
2008, 2009, around there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That could be right.
Okay.
Yeah, probably a lot of things for humans.
So making a Universes Beyond Aftermath style set to me seems right. I mean, obviously, if you don't remember, Aftermath came out this year and was an epilogue to March of the Machines or March of the Machine. I
March of
forget.
the Machine.
March of the Machine singular. And we didn't draft it. You could just open the packs. Although on Magic Arena, you could draft a March of the Machine Aftermath format. But they were just like 10 cards in a pack or something. It was like smaller packs
Yeah.
and a very small number of cards. And I don't think people bought the packs very much. Like, partly because it's like, what do I do with this? Right? It's standard, but I'm not drafting it. And it's like a really small number of cards. So, like, I guess I could just be buying a box to try to get the whole set. But
Hand
buying
on-
singles
hand on
makes
my
more
heart.
sense.
I've never heard of a person that bought this.
Yeah, no, I did. I wasn't sure if I wanted to come out with that,
Yeah.
but like, I haven't talked to anyone who opened a pack other than us. We opened some for something for content.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we made something with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like, you know, maybe your release schedule is a bit full if 3 people who work in this environment are like, I
It's a
don't
little-
remember ever opening this.
It's a little tight.
right.
It's a little could use some breathing room. I mean, the breathing room that they try to like the breathing room is that like the this isn't for you narrative, right? Of like you are not, which I think is true. Like for some of these sets, like if you don't want to, like, I don't know, the Assassin's Creed and the Fallout aren't exactly going to put financial strain on my like hobby budget
Sure.
Right.
because I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, you're not gonna be excited to go pick those up.
It's not. Yeah, it's not for me.
Right. Regardless of whether you like Assassin's Creed or not, and you're stoked to see the Assassin's Creed Magic cards, I just don't quite understand where it's coming from to say we're going to put out this set that has this Universes Beyond attachment and it's modern legal, and the way you're going to get it in is in weird little packs. Like, I just think if it's going to be a small set, just give me a box set. Like 4 Commander decks makes sense.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, why wouldn't they? If they want to do this, I don't get why they wouldn't just do a living cards game set, like just like collector's edition.
This
like,
feels like
give me $100 and here's every card from Assassin's Creed. There's 50 of them.
Yeah, this feels like a test.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like,
fair enough.
How can we
Yeah.
they've been trying various ways of releasing Universes Beyond cards. You
Right.
know, went from like the Walking Dead to, I don't know, Warhammer to, or no, there was Stranger Things in there, which were both Secret Lair releases.
Right. So it's like,
And Commander releases, set releases.
Yeah.
Maybe this little weird thing where we tried March of the Machine Aftermath, maybe that can be a Universes Beyond thing.
right. No, that makes sense. In the experimental phase, I guess the backstory for me is I delude myself into thinking like, oh, it's okay that you're getting boostered packs because those are for sealed and draft play.
Yeah,
Like that's not just a weird lottery ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I
the
think-
game piece you play with.
Yeah, I think I've gotten into this idea where like boosters have, you know, bits of entropy which are part of the gameplay experience.
Right.
And as you say, not just lottery tick. These are just like,
But like a little 10 card pack that you don't play in any booster or in any draft format. It's like,
yeah, it's just like these are
why?
hockey cards.
Yeah,
It,
exactly.
it
Why
does
are you
scream.
doing that?
It does
Yeah.
scream like lotto tickets that they can sell in Walmart
Yeah.
or Best Buy or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not enthusiastic about it.
Nope.
Quarter 3, Bloomborough. We're going to a new plane. It's called
Hey,
Bloomborough. And I just, oh man.
Yeah, this
like,
one looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I guess Thunder Junction, also new plane. I should
Yeah.
give credit
Right.
where credit's
Okay,
due.
right.
Bloomborough, though, hey, it's tiny little animals, and they're either being brave or polite, and I'm just like, yes.
I mean-
do they have little hands? Do they have little hands, and are they holding an acorn that is full of stew?
I've been waiting for this kind of set for so long.
Yeah,
Like, not to just sound too misanthropic, but just like the idea of a set with no people.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
just and all
Yeah,
the
like, I love that for Lorwyn.
it's
right?
it's yeah
Yeah.
Hey, no, wait, no humans.
No human-
These are people.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no
this,
humans.
This
yeah.
mouse fighting the burning wolf. They are a
No
person.
humanoid like
Yes.
elves and,
Right.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
goblins and like why if we haven't seen too much from here, but like if we can get through this set without too much like direct furry bait or like or characters, because like there's going to be some, but hopefully it'll be tasteful.
Yeah.
And just let them be animal, like let it be Redwall.
Yeah.
Right? Just what if a mouse was a monk?
Yeah.
Like that's just great. There's
like,
so much there.
Yeah, give me this, I don't know, Secret of Nim.
Yeah.
Redwall Mouse Guard
Yeah.
was also cool.
Everdell.
Everdell. Yeah, like the mouse squaring off against the elemental firewolf reminds me a lot of actually a piece of art from Mouse Guard where one of the characters had to fight a snowy owl. Mm-hmm. And it's just like this enormous
bravely.
thing that occupies the entire page.
That is so. I've had this. I've used this line a lot when I talk about like what you can drive enjoyment from, like from the visual aspect of Magic cards, and how like you don't need to like like people power creep the words on the cards, but like there's a power creep for like the actual depiction of what the card is and what it's
Right,
doing,
okay,
like
yeah.
trying to raise these stakes. And I think Eldraine did a pretty good job of being like original Eldraine when it's just like, here's Embercleave. It's a sword.
right.
And it's got some cool like wavy lines around it, but like that's it, because like that's just cool. Like you don't have to have a dragon that has 3 heads and like spikes coming out from everything that can also turn into a tank
Right.
or whatever.
I
Like
believe you're describing Grimclaw. Or not Grimclaw.
One of the Transformers.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
I am kind of describing Predacon Megatron from Robots in Disguise.
Thank you.
2004.
Right, yes.
But
Yeah.
I think
Me, Grimlock. Wow, what kind of millennial am I? Fake one.
You disappointed me for the last time, Cameron.
it's okay.
Really? I
no,
can
just
go?
kidding.
Yeah.
Points
yeah,
enthusiastically to throat.
Just like the stakes being raised because your mouse is fighting an owl.
Yeah.
Like that's great.
Yeah.
Or mouse fighting wolf.
Yeah.
And like, or I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up on Pokemon. Also just the concept of what if animal plus element and
Yeah.
like that's
Ooh,
it.
yeah.
Like, yeah, give me a whole set of that.
It does seem like with most of the sets coming out next year, they've sort of shifted. Like there's this regular play of like the world is going to end. There's some threat to the entire multiverse. Like the Eldrazi's or Nicol Bolas or the Phyrexians are like going to turn everything upside down and control all of the planes to just like, hey, there's a murder mystery, but you know, we're actually going to have some fun at this big fancy house. And like, ooh, there's outlaws. They're going to get into some shenanigans. And then
Right.
and then we're going to go to Bloomborough where like the problems are like big, but contained within these cute little mouses' lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Whatever that is, like, you know, the pendulum of stakes or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean,
But that's great.
We talked
Like,
earlier
fine
about
with
how planes go through these phases where you have the initial world building, then each subsequent set adds depth and character to it. And I'm just like really looking forward to the initial stakes of Bloomborough.
Yeah.
Also, very much hoping we get zero humanoids. Like, I think that would be
Yes.
great.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
That would be-
Apparently, this will have no humans in it. The
Okay,
world is full of
great.
squirrels, frogs, rats, and rabbits.
Perfect.
And there's going to be one planeswalker. Do you think it'll be Grist?
I hope
That'd be
it's
cool.
Grist.
That'd be a good
Grist
one,
would be
right?
cool. Yeah. Bugs.
A Johnny, I guess, would be okay, but still,
Too
that's a
humanoid.
humanoid,
Nope.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. People
other
get too hot and heavy about a Johnny.
What other, like, kind of amorphous, sort of non-human-ish planeswalkers do we have?
Comet.
Right.
Right.
Comet.
The dog.
Comet and Grist are my two front-runner faves for planeswalker appearing on Bloomborough. Nice.
I don't know how Comet's going to be able to factor into it, but you know what? I'd be okay with it.
I mean, maybe this is Comet that this mouse is fighting
Oh.
after re-entry. You know, Commander
Yeah.
thinks aloud.
Sure.
Like
sure.
this is the. Moving on.
Moving on.
Yes, let's.
Then following up in Q4, we have Duskmourn, House of Horror, which is a new horror set. It's a standard legal set. Modern horror. So, you know, like, what would be the analogy here?
Like, what's modern horror? Like Saw?
Modern horror, like, well, it's like slashers, Amityville horror. The examples
Okay.
they give, I would assume you would also have things like, you know, The Exorcist.
Okay.
You know, where Innistrad had kind of classic horror into cosmic horror,
Right.
right? Like vampires, werewolves into like, what if there was a really big shape, and that was scary.
I do like that.
Yeah. Here in Duskmourn, you have like haunted houses, like Shirley Jackson kind of like.
The whole plane is one house.
Is it?
Oh,
I
really?
think so.
That is
That's
unspeakably
at least
dank.
that's what I've been told.
In the world of Duskmoor, which consists of one giant haunted mansion full
That's
of
so
horrors.
sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I am
Yeah.
here for this.
The
I am, yeah, okay.
the art, the small amount of art we've seen. I didn't actually read the blurb, but the art really captivated me because it kind of, I don't want to necessarily say it's like Giger, but it has, where Phyrexia has that like, what if we turned your organic material into metal? Ha ha ha. You know, like it has that kind of body horror that can be associated with it. The artwork that we've seen from Duskmourn is more like, what if organic material kind of emulated machinery? Like it
Right,
looks,
okay.
it almost looks mechanical,
Okay.
at least from that one.
Yeah,
piece.
that one piece of key art.
It looked like it's just such like a network of fibers and bone and
And
Just
then the
real
standard
creepy
environment,
stuff.
you're going to have all these little mouses like picking up a really weird like
Yeah.
equipment from Duskmorn and going into battle against an enemy cowboy planeswalker.
But yeah, they had me at the whole world is a giant house. Like that's
Okay.
that's just sick.
I'm for this. I enjoy horror as a concept, and the entire world is one haunted mansion. I'm for it. House of Leaves,
Yes.
kind of vibe.
Okay,
I'm for it.
I'm curious, but
Caught a House of Leaves set.
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
So-
maybe we'll get Altart.
Yep.
It's all House of Leaves. Like my favorite part of House of Leaves is in the prologue where there's the old guy living in the other apartment.
Yeah.
And he, whenever he gets upset, he lists a series of women's names in order, and it seems to calm him down a bit. And the narrator, who's not a very bright guy, assumes that it's a list of like ex-lovers.
Oh.
Right? And he's going through like a nostalgia thing. And it's never commented on in the text. Those are the names of the French forts at Dien Bien Phu in the order that they were destroyed by the Viet Minh.
Whoa.
And you're like, who is this man?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
That's what calms them down.
yeah, that's what calms him down.
Jesus.
Weird.
That'd make a good set. Universes Beyond. Some leaves.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also, that old man is another character who bears a little more than a passing bit of resemblance to Jorge Borges. And
Okay.
yeah.
It's all coming.
Kind of like
it's all
a li-
coming full circle.
Yeah, he's a bit of a librarian character. So those are the big releases for 2024. Then in 2025, we have had, just 2025 and 2026. We have also had the code names given to the sets and a couple of reveals. First set coming up, Innistrad Remastered, which I assume will follow in the same mode as Ravnica Remastered.
Yeah, I mean, if these sets are as good as Time Spiral and Dominaria Remastered, it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't
Yeah.
know. These were just good draft formats that...
They put more copies of certain cards into the wild, and
Yep.
they're fun to draft.
Yeah, and it's low stakes feeling good about these
Yeah,
sets, right?
yeah.
It's just like, new players get exposed to old good cards, and old players get another chance to draft them.
Yep. Then we have two more sets after that. Then Universes Beyond Final Fantasy,
Ooh.
which apparently will have all 16 games
Whoa.
Because
represented.
that's like that's a draftable modern legal set.
So is that like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings?
Like it's Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Well, that's an exciting
I just
release.
want from Final Fantasy 14 the Rogaden Pirate Queen commander deck.
And I want a Chocobo Race alternate win condition card.
Yeah,
Can I say my Universes Beyond piece?
please.
Yeah,
Okay,
hit me.
okay. So Final Fantasy, my relationship with this game series is like a blockbuster relationship.
Okay.
You know, like renting the games.
Oh, okay.
And maybe buying the used copies. Like I don't know much beyond like memes and like stuff I have forgotten as a child. But I'm stoked for this set for Universes Beyond. Because Final Fantasy feels like it is just so it's in everything, like nerdy, right? Like it's such an influential, monumental series.
It's a really big
Yeah.
IP among
It's
nerds,
huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the same with like Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings it's the Bible, right? It's
Yeah, I mean, you would have a very hard time convincing me that the first several sets of Magic the Gathering, with a few obvious exceptions, Arabian Nights, didn't crib heavily from Lord of the Rings along several axes.
yeah.
Yeah, also, probably if Final Fantasy hadn't come around, I bet the first 10 years of Magic would have looked different too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think already this IP is big
Like
enough.
even
It's
the
probably
art,
had
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Some of it. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's cool. That's where I would like Universes Beyond, because I'm not going to be like, I wish this never existed, because I like the Lord of the Rings. I like this. And even like, honestly, the Warhammer product has grown on me. But those all feel very, maybe Doctor Who is also very like grounded. it's influential to fantasy and everything.
Right.
But I don't know. I got something wrong with these universes beyond that all just take place on Earth,
Yeah,
or like draw heavily from Earth.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, like I mean, like Universes Beyond Walking Dead. What is? It's still my like what?
Yeah. It's just it's something I don't like. That's not the big driving thing that I can't get past, but it certainly adds to it when it's just like the wiki for Assassin's Creed and maybe even Fallout will have like tabs on Richard Nixon.
Right.
And like say, Walking Dead will probably have like the Walking Dead wiki has something on Atlanta or whatever.
Right,
And that
right,
just
of course.
feels very off to me. And like Magic, I saw someone mention like something about Magic being like Magic had Library of Alexandria and Arabian Nights. It's like that, well, or like or the Tabernacle in Caracas and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that was
It was
30
1994
years ago,
Yeah.
and they did it, and then they
Yeah.
never did it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you had Magic flavor texts that cribbed or were just Rime of the Ancient Mariner from Shakespeare, or
Yeah.
A bunch of Shakespeare.
that stuff's
songs and
cool.
stuff.
yeah, I mean that's cool. I was like, hey, I did this in English class.
Flavor text on core sets, drawing from that, go off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. They keep saying this, maybe it's not for you, or like this set isn't for you, but like, and it's not the end of the world. We talked about this before we went live. Of just like, I think that we can all agree that a lot of us draw our personality and our self-worth and who we are as a human and our character from things that are not Magic the Gathering.
yeah.
Right? We have lives. We do other things. So
I
it's
at
not
least tell myself that.
so I'm not like fuming and stomping around like, oh, I hate Fallout or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is kind of, it's kind of sad. It
like-
really bums me out.
I think there's like a large conversation to be had, and a very interesting conversation to be had about like critical relationship with the media that we consume, right? Because we should never be consuming media. We should be engaging with storytelling.
Yeah.
And like thinking critically about games and the things that go into creating the popular culture in which we are immersed. Right? We have a responsibility to be like, well, like not just I like this or don't like this, but, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Right? And where does this come from? Why is this here? Because like pop culture it's in academia, it's kind of like experienced a renaissance where people are like, no, pop culture is where the rubber meets the road. It's absolutely where we are right now. It's what we need to be engaging with, right? Like we don't need more PhD theses on Milton and Paradise Lost. It's been explored. And unless you're doing something really
But
revolutionary
we do need
with
people to read Brittany's book coming out next month.
Well, yeah, right? Like these are the things that constitute our day-to-day lives. And like for a large part, I'm like, well, this Magic set isn't for me. I guess I'm not going to buy it. And that's fine for me because like I might be on a Magic podcast and I play Magic professionally, but it's not my whole life. Like I can go integrate an equation or write a sonnet or read a book or go for a hike. And like whatever, I have other things to fill my time. It's not my entire personality. I would love to write an essay on it too. Right? Like
We have a website.
we do.
Just be more critical with
Yeah.
what you engage. In fact, it's not even a you should be, it's a you have to be.
Yeah.
Critic-
right?
like-
yeah, read Frederick Jameson's postmodernism. It's good. It's free. You can find it online.
It's just it's just so wild that like I look at 2024 and I see all of this releases that are within the Magic world. I don't think I've been this excited over a set of releases in a long time.
There was
Yeah,
a lot. It was a
right?
big.
Yeah, like
television,
basically
yeah.
everything except for the Universes Beyond one. I think we were all like, either this is cool and maybe like the coolest reception we had was for Modern Horizons 3.
Yeah, I'm
right?
just
Which was
worried.
just like
I'm
worried.
worried about
Yeah,
Modern
yeah.
Horizons 3.
Yeah,
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the cards will be great. Like.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked for the commons and uncommons.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Modern Horizons 3.
Yeah.
The mythic rares.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Also, one more thing to mention about 2025 is a return to Lorwyn.
Yeah, it's finally happened. I thought we weren't going to get it because Eldraine took over or whatever, but now we're actually getting Return to Lorwyn.
I just like that there's design space where maybe what they were doing is they've been working on like going back to Lorwyn, and people are like, what if there were mice and bunnies? And people are like, that's not quite it, right? It's supposed to be weird fairies and like, goblins and red caps. And what if
also
we just
just,
split
like-
these ideas apart?
Yeah.
And like splitting them apart suddenly allowed a lot more clarity on what each world should have been.
Yeah, and also like Lorwyn has the Aurora going on, right? Like it's
Yeah.
two planes in one, and that's like distinct.
Yeah,
And that's like
I
part of
mean,
its flavor.
All this helps set expectations too, right? If you have a more clear idea of what Lorwyn is actually going to bring, because some of the other like confusing this confusing pile of adjectives that players would randomly just toss at this set has been adopted by stuff like Eldraine and presumably by Bloomborough here. It makes it, you get to go like, oh, okay, well, this is being accomplished by this set and this set, which means we just get the weird, ugly elves that are think they're better than everybody. And, and the fairies and the goblins working with the giants. Like, cool. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, also the elves thinking they're better than the elementals. Come on, man. Look in the mirror.
just-
Prettier. They have more control over their appearance. Than
Just
the
a bunch of racist elves that look like...
It's like that.
Yeah, the racist elves that all look like the guy that just like takes his son's blood to make him look younger. Like it's just, I mean, they're not great people, but it does. It's a little interesting.
Yeah,
that
no,
they exist.
Yeah, villainy is a deep thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to see the flavor and like themes split up and then getting heightened clarity, right? Like Eldraine, Bloomborough, Lorwyn. It turns out 3 planes is definitely not too many to experience
non-humanity.
And like, even storybook, like even fable stories from childhood, right? Like you can have multiple planes that those various tropes exist on.
Not to make this episode any longer than it is, sorry, James, but I think that with March of the Machine, it also accomplished that with some of the battles of the invasions of these planes that they kind of forgot, that really sparked a lot of interest within the community, because it's not just, it's another dinosaur plane. It's like, no, this is different. This is like lush jungle prehistoric dinosaur.
I mean, what I really would have wanted to see from a Phyrexian invasion of Lorwyn was a Phyrexian invasion of Shadowmoor, and then the Phyrexians take root there, and then it flips back to Lorwyn, and then the Phyrexians are brought with that.
Right. You get Phyrexian Aurora Phyrexians, right?
And they're flipped along some kind of axis.
Right.
Where, like, they're like, I get it now.
Wizards, you should
right? They
you
have
should
like
steal
the,
this.
have you seen? It's the latest season of Always Sunny.
I have not. Sorry.
Where one of the characters comes out as queer to his father in a dance performance in prison.
Oh yeah, no,
nice.
And
get
it just
now.
like zooms in on this other character's face, and he's just in tears, and he says, "I get it."
Yeah.
Right.
Incredible.
Yeah. And it's just like it's a hallucinatory because it's so like weird from a show that's already weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Universes Beyond, it's like meh.
Oh, we're also getting Tarkir.
We're also getting Tarkir.
Going back to
we're
Tarkir.
getting Arcavios is coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another
These are some of these sets that we only have the code name
words
for, but we know they're going to happen on
Tarkir,
Lorwyn, Arcavios.
and there was one other one.
I thought there was another Universes Beyond Jurassic Park. You were just mentioning dinosaurs.
Jurassic
Isn't there
Park,
also,
yeah.
Wasn't there also a Jurassic Park
Yeah,
announcement?
what?
I forget when. You didn't see this?
Ixalan.
Oh, okay. So we're going back to Ixalan 2 in 2025?
Okay, so
or-
yeah,
Oh, that's coming up soon. Sorry, that's 2023. Right. Lost Caverns of Ixalan is going to have a promotion. So that's actually the soonest thing. That's before 2024.
the-
But there's going to be a Jurassic Park secret lair
Are
or
these
something.
if it's a secret layer, and that means that we will get in-universe versions of cards, right?
yeah.
Great. That
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't
get it.
want to
It's all
misspeak.
Tark,
Sorry, I
right,
didn't even
yeah.
read this article. I just saw
And,
some
the
tweets
other
about it.
set that was only mentioned in a battle, sorry, that I hope we go to see sometime, is the math set.
Oh.
Where it had Vertex Knight.
Oh, yeah.
The Xerex or
yeah,
whatever.
Xerex. I was like, oh, I want to know all about this place.
Are we going to get a set there, or was that just you hoping?
This is just me hoping. It might have been somebody in the studio who's like, what if we made a set that was based entirely on math? And they're like, Dave, No, that's your only idea for this set.
Pitch
Nobody
this
else
every
can.
single time.
You pitch this every time, and nobody else has any idea what to do with it.
Magic
We'll
has-
give you a battle and 2 uncommons.
Magic's been around long enough now, and there's been all this other media, like especially in Marvel movies, that involves like multiple different planes. And I say, steal as much as you want, because like everybody's just been in the melting pot together, right?
Right.
So if there's like cool ideas for like alternate dimensions that come out of other products or whatever, like I think that's sweet.
Well, yeah, no, full agree. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up. It's supposed to be a shorter episode, and yet here we are talking endlessly about it. So thank you for tuning in this week to Tap Tap Concede. I've been Cameron, your host, and joining me was Nelson.
I was here too.
And Ben Wheeler.
Swamp.
Thank you for watching this here. If you're listening to it wherever fine podcasts are found, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, consider giving that dingle a bingle down in the corner. It has been brought to you by you, the fine viewer over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Thank you very much. Your direct support of us through patreon.com makes all of this possible. So in a very real way, this is your fault. And also thank you to the kind people over at cardkingdom.com/LRR, which is our affiliate code with them. If you buy a product with them, be sure to enter our affiliate code when you go to their website. And if you order something from them in the additional field, you can enter button, Loading Ready Run sent me button, please, and they will send you a button that says...
I think it might actually say time for a Pack 3 pivot right now.
Yeah, time for a Pack 3 pivot. So thank you, Serge. All right. That's been everything for Tap Tap Concede. Thank you so much.
James was on tech. Somebody edits these.
James is on tech.
Heather?
Heather edits these and gets these online. The credits. Cameron. Other people do work.
Thanks, Heather.